Karen Seeley's here. Let's get right to it. Drapery.
Yes.
That's how we're starting this because there's a lot to consider. You got to talk about the cash involved, but also what you're looking for in terms of design with your drapery.
Exactly. And, you know, different people splurge on different things in their home.
Yes.
Some people might choose a sofa, a TV, an area rug, art.
Yeah.
Consider spending a little bit of money on your drapery. When you think about walking into a space, it is quite a focal point. You know, it's on a vertical space. You look at it when you first walk in. And so it's kind of like buying a handmade suit or a well-made dress.
Bespoke, something that's custom made
for you. It's made for you and it's beautiful. And once you've owned one of those, you can really see the difference between something off the shelf.
Yeah.
Not that every single thing in your wardrobe is going to be custom made, but it's nice to splurge. So I'm going to walk through a couple details about beautiful custom-made drapery.
Okay.
So when we custom-made, it's often hand-sewn because there's 3 layers of fabric, and often fabrics pull differently. So by hand sewing, you can actually control the tension on the thread so it doesn't pull.
Okay.
Then also what we can do is we can also hide all the seams because obviously our fabric is only so wide, and if you want a whole wall of fabric, by hand sewing you can really make sure that the pleats are, you know, the pattern matches, but then the seams are hidden in here. So it looks amazing.
It looks, the way it hangs is, it hangs perfectly.
Yes, and you know, there's so many things that go into the cost of drapery because obviously the fabric, and because we want our fabric to be really full, if you think about, like, for example, a 4-foot window, we want it to be at least double fullness. So that means 8 feet when it's pulled taut.
Right.
2.5 times fullness is even better, which is 10 feet of fabric.
Yes.
So you're spending money on the fabric, and depending on how it's dyed, you know, so if you spend a little extra money, it could be dyed, higher quality dye, it means it won't fade over time. You know, and if your thread count is really dense, for example, if you had a silk and it's really dense, then it's going to be more money because obviously more silk. So there's so many things that go into the cost of a fabric.
Yeah, so the length as well, which we'll talk about a bit later, but you don't want to look like your walls are wearing floods. It's got to go all the way down,
Yes, it really does.
It's important.
It is. It looks really bad when it doesn't. So, but there's a lot of details, and there's a lot of things when you get into handmade, and we're gonna show a couple pictures.
Yes.
And you can see some of these gorgeous details.
You can see some of the details. So, and that's what you're looking for when you are getting handmade. This is completely custom.
Oh, so we can do hand embroidery, which is fantastic. We can also do hand painted. So if you're having a tough time, if you have a palette in the room already and you're having a tough time finding the right fabric or the right color, you know, you can do something like this. This is all hand painted, so completely 100% can match your space.
That's gorgeous.
Which is just so beautiful to look at. And I've got beautiful samples here. So everything from, we can do origami with fabric. So you can do these beautiful,
That's beautiful.
Look at these little rosettes, you know, and you can sew these on your drapery. So you can have quite this 3D impact.
Yeah.
There's soutache, which is a cording. So it's one continuous cord.
Oh, I like that. I like the tone on tone too.
And it's so elegant. So you can imagine just even on the leading edge of a drape. So you don't have to have it everywhere, but it just really sings.
That's right. You can have something more geometric here in these designs.
The hand embroidery. Or we can actually do an applique where we put another fabric on top, so you get this great different texture and embroidery all around.
Nice.
So there's so many different options.
Yeah.
So it's important to think about maybe in your living room or maybe in a focal point room to consider doing something like this.
And you have to put aside the budget to do it.
You
so
do.
You might be spending a bit of money. Let's take a look at the hardware now because there is something really specific about this beautiful rod up there.
Well, and we can get custom-made hardware. So this is, so one of the things to think about, if you notice, and it may be hard to catch on TV here, but the extension, this rod sticks out a long way.
Right.
So for example, if you have deep windowsills.
Yes.
And you got to think that when we have our drapery folded, the fold itself might be 6 or 10 inches. It needs clearance.
That's right.
So we have to make sure that the rod is fully extending to get past all those things. So you don't want to see the windowsill sticking through your drapery.
Yeah.
This one's also covered in leather. And it's custom made, so it could be any color you want.
Cool.
And I don't know if you noticed, but no rings.
Yeah, that's right.
So the track is actually hidden. So the nice thing is we can actually put this up closer to the ceiling.
Yeah.
So anyway, all of this stuff is from Studio La Boutique. It's beautiful, handmade, custom made, and thank you, Camille, for bringing it all down for me.
Oh, it's gorgeous. Let's talk a little bit about, you know, faking a taller room or a wider room. There's a couple of things you can do with your drapery to make it look maybe like you have more window.
Exactly. So we're going to look at a couple pictures. So one of the things, and this hardware is perfect for that, is we can mount drapery nice and high so that it makes your windows look like they go on forever. And the other thing we've done here is this wall, obviously beautiful glazing, but it has mullions. So we actually stack the drapery in front of those mullions, so it looks like the window goes on forever.
It looks like one huge window.
It does.
Which is cool.
Yes.
Okay, we have another example of how you might be able to cheat your space a little bit.
Yes, we can also, this one here, nice and high again, so you can fudge that window and make the ceilings feel even higher. It just gives a bit more grandeur to the space. So don't be afraid to hang those drapes a little bit higher. Don't hang them right on the casing. Always go above the casing.
Go above.
And I usually like to split the difference between the ceiling and the top of the window in thirds. So I only go a third down from the ceiling and let the rest be drapes.
Nice. What if you want to have the look of a wider space?
Yes, that's also a great thing. So we have a picture to show this too. So sometimes a window might be off center, or sometimes you just want a window to look that much bigger. So we'll often hang the panels in front of the wall.
Right.
And then just the shears in front of the window. So we're not blocking any of that natural light.
Smart.
If you want to open the, the drapery, you can see outside, which is fantastic. But then you get this real drama and also coziness. When you add drapery to a space, it really warms up a space.
We did that in my daughter's nursery. Actually, Benjamin Moore did that. So the entire wall is drapes, even though only a bit of it is window, and it seems dreamy.
It does.
It gives that softness, that comfiness, that texture. We have another example of a way you might want to cheat your space, make the room look a little bit wider.
So in these windows here were actually quite small, and in such a big room, by adding a little bit of detail around it, it really made it sing. It really fit well with the sofa, so fantastic.
It's funny, in our fashion, we never are trying to look wider. I was just thinking that, like, most of the rules of decor actually work in fashion, but not that one.
No, that one doesn't work.
No, no.